So we discussed on notifications based on the insert and update operations, right? So that was the case. So today we'll discuss on event-based notifications. So event-based notifications. So first we need to understand what do you mean by event. Then we'll understand what is the purpose of event-based notifications. So event. So event is nothing but any occurrence, anything happened in the system, anything happens in the system, that's called an event. Any occurrence, okay, or any activity in the system is called an event. For example, you're creating a record, it's an event. You're updating the instrument, guys. Right, sorry. So event, any occurrence or any activity happening in the system is called an event. Example, you're creating a record in the table, okay, it's an event. You're updating the record, okay, it's an event. Okay, so you are changing the value on the field and then saving the record, so it's an event. Getting it? So any occurrence happens in the system, it's called an event. Okay, any occurrence happening in the system is called an event. Getting it? So you're updating work notes on the ticket, or you're adding additional comments on the ticket, it's an event. Getting it? So here, observe carefully here. You're working in the support project and suddenly the ServiceNow is running very slow. Suddenly, all of a sudden, ServiceNow is running very slow. Getting it? So this is affecting the customers. They're not able to work because the slowness issue. So what immediately happens? So they will raise a ticket. Getting it? They will raise a ticket and you will receive the notification saying that ServiceNow is down. Please check on this. So here, ServiceNow is running very slow. So it's an event. Getting it? It's an event. ServiceNow is running very slow. So whenever it runs very slow, customers are raising tickets and you are being notified that the application is running slow, please check. So that means an event can have notification. So the event occurrence can result into some notification. Okay, saying that so and so event has occurred and you need to take some action. Every event occurrence will have some action, will have some action. So that action could be in the form of a notification. Getting it? In the form of a notification. So every event will have some action. That action could be in the form of a notification. So whenever an event occurs, there's a possibility that there will be a notification triggered. There will be a notification triggered. So whenever an event occurs, then a notification will be triggered to take an action on the event. Okay. So every event will have some uh, follow-on notifications to take some action, basically. Right? So let's understand. So what is the process of event creation and how can it can be triggered, and how can a notification be triggered when an event is fired? So we'll talk about this. First of all, why are we going this process? So whatever the notifications that we discussed yesterday, if you're not able to achieve the notification configuration using this option, if you're not able to achieve your requirement using this option, then we'll be going for the second option. If you're able to achieve your requirement using this first option, then you'll go with this option only. But if you're not able to achieve the requirement using this first option, then you'll go for the second option. Getting it? So in the second option, it has a lot of configurations, 2 to 3 configurations. So we'll have to understand them. Steps for working on event-based notifications. Okay. First step is create an event in the event registry. Sys event underscore register. Right. Configure a server-side script to trigger the event. Event can be fired using js.eventQueue method. Configure a new notification of send one as event is fired. Okay. So these are the steps basically. So step one is create an event in the event registry table. Configure a server-side script to trigger the event. Event can be filed by using gs.eventqueue, and then configure a new notification of send when. This is the trigger type. Okay. Is it when to send or send when? Send when. Okay. Send when event is fired. Okay. And then select the event. So this is what these are the three steps. So we'll understand. Take up some use case. We'll understand these steps. Whenever additional comments are added on the record of whenever additional comments are added on the record of the table, then notification to the ITL role users. Okay. Whenever additional comments are added on the record of the table, so this is a table. On this table records, if you are adding any additional comments, then a notification should be triggered to the ITL role users. So last class we discussed on sending notification to the users on the reported user field and the assignment group members. But this time we're trying to trigger a notification to the ITL role users. ITL role users. Is the requirement clear, everybody? Right. So let's follow these steps. So first is create an event in the event registry table. So how do you go to event registry? So type event registry in the application navigator. Click on this. So these are all the list of events which are present in the system. Likewise, create a new event. So create a new event. Okay. Notify dot ITL on work nodes dot updated. So follow the same format. So put dot instead of space between the words. Getting it? Put dot instead of word, instead of space. Don't give underline as well. Put dot only. That's a practice followed for creating events. Table. So what is a table? So our table is this table. Select the table. So this is our table. So this event will be fired through some server-side script. So that name will be given here later. So right now save. So that's the first step. Second step, configure a server-side script to trigger the event. Right. So what we can do is I want to configure a server-side script for this use case. See here, whenever additional comments are added on the record, so take any record stable. So take any record on this particular table. So whenever you are adding work notes, is it work notes or additional comments? You can say comments, not comments, work notes. Say work notes. Okay, work notes. So whenever you're adding work notes, say update one, say for example, update one. So whenever you're adding work notes and then saving, so whenever work notes is added on the ticket or record, then it should trigger notification to the ITL role users. Getting it? So I need to first read this value and then upon save, I need to send the notification. So generally, a normal notification process will not be able to achieve this particular requirement. See here, I'm adding work notes here. This is a journal field. As soon as I add the input and then save it, the work notes getting saved onto the another table and then it is showing in the activities and this field becomes empty. Work notes becomes empty. So during regular notifications, right? During regular notification, you can add this way. Whenever record is inserted or updated and updated as checked to true. But here we can add this work notes changes. But how do you get the value here? It is blank here. So you have to read the value which you entered here. So you cannot read directly this field. You have to read through another process, right? So because this is blank, you cannot read any value on this field, right? So you have to read the value. So in order to read the value, you need additional configuration. So that configuration is not supported or present here. Basically, it's not about supporting. It's not present here. So you cannot use this regular uh, trigger type that is record inserted or updated. So you have to go for writing some additional script for this use case to write some additional script. So that script is nothing but through event based methodology. So whenever you're not able to achieve using this first option, you have to go for second option that is event based. So since our use case is related to picking up the journal input field, so we need to write some additional script here. So that script is written in the server side script. So but the method that we need to follow is event based method. Event based method. For simple use cases, you can go for this option. But any complex use case where you're not able to achieve the requirement using this trigger type, then you have to go for event based, that is event is filed. So let's check on this. So we created the event and next is we need to configure a server side script. So for this use case, I need to read this work notes value. So how can I read? So observe carefully. update 2. So I'm entering the data, and after saving, what happens? After saving, what happens? This value gets saved onto the activities or onto the sys journal entry table. So before saving, I can read this. After saving, I cannot read this value. Before saving itself, I can read this. So I have to read this value before saving the record. Getting it? I have to read this value before saving the record or before updating the record. Anyway, is fine. So because I'm not able to read this value after the record is saved or updated. Getting it? So have a server-side script which does this kind of operation, that is reading values before record is saved or updated. Reading field values before record is saved or updated. Getting it? So I have something called business rule, business rules. So where I can use to configure to read values before saving the record. Getting it? Click on new. Everybody following? Right. So this is the business rule. So you can type business rules and you can say system definition, business rules, then click on new. So give some meaningful name for this business rule. So notify ITL users on work notes added. Okay. So this is a name I'm giving to the business rule. Then table, on which table we wanted to read the work notes added. So our table name is so test table 9 a.m. right? So this is our table name, and then say advanced. Okay. So when to run? So when are we supposed to run this business rule? So before the record is updated, I want to read this. So the trigger is before update. Before update. Can say condition here. Work notes. So work notes changes. Okay. So this is what the condition. So before the record is updated, if work notes is changed, then you're supposed to trigger the event using this gs.event queue. So this is the trigger condition for the business rule and advanced. Here we need to write some script. Here we need to write some script in the advanced window in order to achieve the use case. So what method is followed here? gs.event queue. So you can directly write that gs.event queue. So this is the method used to trigger or fire the event. Fire the event. Okay. So now these are all the parameters. You see event queue, name, record, param1, param2, queue. So these are all the parameters that we are supposed to supply to this method. So first is event name. So what is the event name? What is the event which we created? So this is the event, right? So next, record means current record. So we are working on test table 9m records, right? So the record will be the current record, comma, comma, param1, comma, param2, param1, param2. So generally, these parameters are used for sending the email addresses because we are working on notifications, right? So param1 and param2 could be used to add the email addresses of the users. Add the email addresses of the users. So now, first save it. Okay, save it. Just a moment. Right. So we saved it, and now, so copy this name of the business tool. Go to the event. So fired by, how through which script we are firing this event? Through the business tool, and then give the name. Yeah, getting it, and save it. Right. So next, so the business tool is firing this particular event, and we need to pass the parameters here. Okay, in this event queue method, we need to pass the parameters. So what is our use case? Our use case is to send the notification to the ITL role users. ITL role users, and go to the notification. Who will receive section? See here, you have users, you have groups where you can hard code users and groups, but there is no roles here. There is no roles field here. So you cannot add roles directly in the notification. You have to write some script in order to get all the ITL role users email addresses. So here you see there is no roles field to add the role or hard code the role directly. So you have to write some script again. Getting it? So here, so in order to get the ITL role users, you have to write the script and then get all the email addresses, pass them into param1 or param2. Param1 or param2. So check it here. So get the email address of the ITL users. Okay. So how do you get? So we have a table where roles and users combination is stored. So go to roles first, roles table. Okay, open this. Go to users here on the roles record. Open a new window. So now you see, so these are all the users who does have ITL role, who does have ITL role. So now that means all these users email addresses should be picked up all these users email addresses should be picked up. So this is a user, and how do you get the email address of this user? Can use dot walking. So user is a reference field on this table. So user is a reference field on this table. So you can use dot walking. You can use dot walking in order to get the email address. So this way, something like this. So user dot email, user dot email. So if you open this user record, so this is the email address, right? So I need to get this email address. So how do you get it? Field user dot field email, field user dot field email. So then you will get the email address of the first user. Likewise, you need to get all the email addresses of all these users. Everybody following? Please respond.
Yes, sir.
Others?
Yes, sir.
Right. So now go to the business rule. So write this script here to get the email addresses. So we need to understand which table does store the data. So this table, sys user has role is the table which stores the data. So now, so we have some process. How do you write this script here? So you need to read these records. You need to read the records from user roles table, apply this filter condition, and then get all the user records and then read email address one by one. Okay. So this is a process. New glide record. So which table? So this is a table you're supposed to look for. So basically we are touching this table and we are applying filter condition. We are getting all these records. So that's what we are doing here. So first we are touching the table using this syntax. So using this syntax, we are touching the table and then apply the filter condition. So apply the filter condition. So the filter condition is role is ITAL. Getting it? Copy query. Right click on this, copy query. So you can use this query, encoded query. So this is used to add the query condition. So role is ITAL. So sysid of the ITAL and then run this query against this table using this syntax. So you need to, so you will get multiple records here matching this condition. So you have to read each record one by one. So you have to use while in order to loop through each record. Next. Say variable email, user email you can say. You can say user email is equals to dot get value of so you have to use, or you can directly use this way. variable dot user dot email dot to string. So this is what the dot walking. So variable. So this table related object variable dot user means this particular field backend value, and then after that dot email means dot email address of the user, and I'm converting the output into a string format using dot to string. Getting it? So this way we can get the email address. So now I'll use something called an array variable. Final array is equals to, okay, I'll use some array variable to store all the email addresses. To store all the email address. Array to store all the email addresses. Dang it. So whenever I get this email address of the user, I'll push that email address into the array variable. So you can say array dot push is a method. What are you pushing? Email address is being pushed. We'll talk about the scripting in detail in the development class. So do not worry. So we are pushing the email address onto the array variable. Now, likewise, all the users email addresses will be pushed one by one. So this is for the first record cycle. This array email address will be pushed onto the array. For the next record, again, same syntax will be executed, and then email address will be pushed onto the array. So while is used to run recursively the same logic till the condition is met. Till the condition is met. So now what you can do? So variable joined array is equals to, so whatever the output that you get in the array, so it will have all the email addresses separated with comma. Separated with comma. So you can just execute this in the background script. So gs dot info. So I'm printing the array. So this is the array, right? So you can print it directly. Run script. So you can see here, this is one email address of ITL role user. This is second. So separated with comma. Getting it? Separated with comma. So likewise, all the email addresses are stored in the array, and I want to join all these elements together. Want to join all these elements together. So what I can do is can use one function called join array dot join. So join will join all the elements together. Okay, all the email addresses together. Now pass this variable here as param1, as param1. Save. Right. So passing param1 with the email addresses of the ITL role users, and param2 is empty. I'm not sending any parameter. So with this, the second step is complete. Right. Next, let's go for third step. That is configure a new notification. So click on new to create new notification. So this is our table, right? So test table 9 a.m. right? Say notify ITL on work nodes added. Okay, so this is the name I'm giving. Send when, so say when record event is fired and select the event. So what is our event name? So is this the one? Notify ITL work nodes updated. Go to business rule, check. Right, so the same event. Right, so this is the event. Next, who will receive? So click on advanced. So click on advanced and you see event contains param 1. Param 1 contains recipient. Event param 2 contains recipient. So in the business rule, you see, we are sending the email addresses in param 1. Getting it? So make sure like you check it to true here. Event param 1 contains recipient. Right? We are sending email address. So make sure this is checked to true. That means if you are sending email addresses in param 1, check this to true. You're sending email addresses in param 2 from the business rule, check this to true. Getting it? Right now we are sending only in the param 1. What it will contain? So add the subject line. So work nodes added. Work nodes added. For the record, say u underscore number. Right. So next, hello team. Work nodes has been added on the record. U underscore number. Below are the details. And one more thing, where am I reading the work notes? Able to send the notification using this, but I also need to add the work notes. I also need to add the work notes. So nowhere I'm reading the work notes field value, and then I'm sending it to the notification. I'm not reading the work notes field value anywhere here. So I think that requires additional configuration. So here I'm able to get the email addresses, but nowhere I'm reading the work notes field value, right? So we'll see that. Okay, we'll configure notification first. Okay, so status, pick it from the fields. Say work notes, leave it as it is. Short description, add it. Okay, first save it. So work notes, right? So work notes, we will have to do some additional configuration, which we will discuss again. So let's first test whether the ITL role users is receiving notification or not with this approach. Okay, reading the work notes, we'll do it. Okay, after testing this, we'll redo it. So we'll see whether notification is triggering or not to the ITL role users first. So observe carefully here. This is our record. I'm updating, update to save. So I saved it, right? I saved it. So go to the email logs to see whether email got triggered or not. See here. This is just now triggered. This is just now triggered. And you can see here. So this is a subject line which we added. And you can see the email addresses of all the ITL role users. In the recipient, you can see all the ITL role users email address. And you can preview the email. And you can see work notes has been added below the details. Status is open. Work notes is empty. Short description is this. Getting it? Short description is this. So next, how do you add values onto the notification from the business rule? Because we are supposed to read the work notes and then add it onto the notification. So how do you do that? So there is something called email scripting. There's something called email scripting. Or you can say notification email scripts. Notification email scripts. So using which you can write some script and then pass the values onto the emails. Write some script and pass the values onto the email notification. Getting it? Write some script and then pass the values to the email notification. So now what are we supposed to do? Supposed to read this work notes. Supposed to read this work notes. Say update 3. Supposed to read this, and after reading I'm supposed to pass it to the notification. So there's a process here again for this one. For this one, there is a process here. So steps. Anybody not understanding, please let me know. So configure a new email script. Okay. Configure a new email script. Then navigate to the notification and then, or you can say open the notification and then call the email script using the $mail underscore script name of the script. Okay, name of the email script. So we'll have to do these two steps to pass the values from the current record onto the notification. So observe carefully here. So type email scripts here, right? Let's click on, so these are all the email scripts. Okay, so click on new, click on new. So what you can do, read underscore work notes. You can do this. So read underscore work notes is the name of the email script. Name of the email script. So here you need to write the script in order to read the work notes from the record. Getting it? So now observe carefully. Can do one more thing here. Go to the business rule. So go to the business rule. So here it is. So what is the condition here? Before updating the record, we are triggering the event. We are firing the event. So before the record is updated, read the work notes field value. So how do you read? So you can use this method, current dot get value of current dot get value of u underscore work underscore notes. Okay, current dot get value underscore work underscore notes. So put it into some variable called wn. Current dot get value of work notes and store the value of the work notes whatever you get into a variable. Now pass this value on to parameter 2. This one, parameter 2. Okay, so you're sending email addresses in parameter 1, work notes data onto parameter 2. So put dot to string here, right? Saved. Save the business rule. So in parameter 2 of the event, you have work notes data. Now go to the email script. So here you have a parameter called event. So here you need to write the script in order to get the desired output. Okay, you need to extract that parameter 2 from the event. So you can use this event parameter here. Say event dot param 2. Okay, event dot param 2. So the syntax will give you the work notes data from the business room. Say dot to string. Okay, say dot to string. Right. So now what you can do? So you can use something like this. So in order to print the value from the email script to the, if you want to send the value from email script to the notification body, then you can use something called template.print. Template.print. See here, template is there here. So you can use print. Print is used to pass the output from the email script to the body of the email. Getting it? So template dot print, what are you actually passing? Parameter 2 from the event. Getting it? Save. Right, save. So if you email script is completed, next call the email script. Call the email script using this method. Syntax, sorry. Mail underscore script and the name of the email script. So say something like this. Mail underscore script dot. What is the name of the email script? So it is here. So give the name of the email script. Save it. Getting it? Save it. Retest it again. So for update 3, right? Save it. Go to email logs. Verify. If there is any problem, email will not trigger. Okay. So go to event queue here. So there's something called event queue where it will store all the event triggered. So what is our event name? So this is our event name. Copy. Go here. Apply the filter condition. Say event, not event. Name is. So this is event which got triggered. But what about email? Right, email also triggered. Email also triggered. See here, this is a notification, right? So these are all the users, ITL role users, subject line of the email, say preview email, click on this. See here, status is this, work notes. What did we add? Update 3, short description. So we are able to successfully pass values from the email script to the notification. This is clear, guys. I know it will confuse you for the first time. We discussed a lot today. So, but refer to the recording again, okay? And then you will understand it very clearly. So, if you're understanding at the first instance, that is fine. If not, look at the recording again. Is this clear, guys? Everybody?